Hey, this is going to be a long video. I'm going to get right into the meat of it. If you're an Amazon seller and you've experienced sort of random Section 3 reviews without a lot of context, without a lot of explanation, maybe you jumped into one of those sort of like a Zoom call with Amazon and you felt interrogated and like you didn't have the proper resources to talk it through with Amazon, this letter is for you. So this is from August 15th. It's like October 6th or 7th when we're filming this. So this is only like a month and a half old. We were just made aware of it like a week or two ago, and we wanted to check into it a bit before we put it on the channel. But at this point, I'm really convinced that this is a really good thing. I'm going to read this letter in its entirety. This is a letter from a Congressman, Christopher H. Smith, out of the 4th District of New Jersey. Thank you, Christopher. This is really good work. We're going to be reaching out to your office. We have hundreds of testimonies similar to this. Our main warehouse headquarters is actually in Rahway, New Jersey, so a different district, but same state. What I'm about to read to you, and we'll put it up on the screen, is a letter from Chris to Stephen T. Hartel, who is the Vice President of U.S. Public Policy at the Amazon Corporation. So this is a letter from a congressperson to Amazon, kind of describing his constituents' experience with Amazon. So two things I think that you can draw from this. Number one, if you've experienced something that feels kind of rough, accusatory, unstreamlined, messy, and it's cost you money, time, you're not alone. There's a lot of people facing this. I believe it's a result of Amazon's Project Zero, which they started a little over a year ago. And it's a good goal that we all can support, and that'll be in the letter, but their goal is to get zero counterfeit, zero stolen items on Amazon. That's awesome because legitimate sellers, authentic sellers can't compete with those prices anyway. And we want to protect the consumer. Every seller who sells on Amazon actually wants that. But the question is how you do it, right? How you accomplish that goal. While maybe not as important as the goal itself, subsequent to it is how you do it because it affects real people and their businesses. So I'm going to read this in its entirety, which is why it's going to be about a 5-minute video. Worthwhile to stay around. Put it at 2x speed if you need to. To Stephen T. Hartel, Dear Mr. Hartel, I write to you today on behalf of many constituents who have reached out to me regarding the sudden, that's huge. It's really sudden. We saw a big wave of them recently and continuing. Sudden and unexpected suspension of their Amazon seller accounts and the devastating impact this has had on their business, employees, and families. As the congressman for New Jersey's 4th Congressional District, I have heard hundreds of seller accounts in my district alone have been locked down by Amazon with very little communication or detail. 100% accurate. Most have received a generic form letter type response stating that the action is in accordance with Section 3 of the Business Solutions Agreement. Yet there is no information provided to explain how Section 3 specifically relates to their case or what specific products may be in question. We have seen that too. In some cases, we'll get a specific product, and those are easy to resolve because we just supply the chain of custody or the transparency codes or wherever it is, and then we move on. But oftentimes, they're not telling us why. I have been advised that when my constituents, your selling partners, attempt to contact Amazon to determine the exact issue, offense, product, or supplier, most receive no assistance at all. It is brutally hard to contact Amazon. There's no real support. We tell our management clients it's like yelling at a mountain and expecting the mountain to move. It's just never going to happen. After days and weeks of calls and emails to Amazon, the lucky ones get an inadequate video or phone call that typically ends in no resolution. Also true. Although we have had a very, very high success rate, as far as we understand, like one of the highest in the industry, it's still really challenging. It takes us several weeks sometimes to resolve some of these, and we've not done anything wrong. And the store hasn't either. Store owner hasn't either. May also note that they are led on by a cryptic or non-existent appeals process. There is little or no opportunity for direct contact with an Amazon rep with whom the constituents can advocate to get their business released and assets rightfully returned. No information as to which product or supplier is in question or creating a problem, if there even is an authenticated problem. The forced arbitration process from the business seller agreement proves costly and limited in providing discovery opportunities for the third-party seller to try to gather information and recoup their own assets. True, 100% true. This guy's nailing it. Perhaps most troubling is the fact that after making a seemingly random determination, Amazon holds all the inventory, even products unrelated to the offense. Really, really true and very problematic, and confiscates hundreds of thousands of constituents' dollars with no return date in sight. The final result is the total devastation of businesses and livelihoods. Here are just a few of the many comments I have received. I'll read one or two and then we'll move on because there's like 10 of them. Longtime sellers trying to make an honest living find themselves at the mercy of an algorithm. One day they wake up to discover they're just out of business with all their money and inventory held up. They have to fire their employees, can't pay their vendors or loans, and are left with unsellable inventory. This situation severely impacts their personal lives. Mortgages can't be paid, bills are overdue, and their lives are ruined. Years of hard work is erased in an instant with no one to talk to. I have been affected with over $1 million in cash and inventory held with no path to reinstatement because they cannot verify my suppliers. If you go, we'll link to this video below, but I did a response to Mark Cuban on Twitter or X about this. This is exactly the sentiment. And again, we just got this letter like a week and a half ago. Amazon recently shut down both of my seller accounts and gave me very vague explanations as to the reason. They mentioned that I abused their FBA reimbursement policy. I am very unclear what they're talking about since I've never done that. I am an honest seller that has been selling for over 8 years and always did everything according to their book. They are holding on to over $2 million of my inventory. They're not allowing me to remove it. I have a big overhead, payroll, and rent that I have to cover in addition to supporting my family. I also have large lines of credit that I cannot make payments on since my inventory is being held and they're not allowing me to make sales. We'll put up all these comments. These are real people that are getting affected. I'm going to read this last one. We received a shocking notification that our account had been deactivated despite having account health insurance, which should have ensured prior notification. Amazon deactivated our account without any advance warning. They claimed we were in violation of trademark infringement. However, after consulting with lawyers, it was confirmed that we were fully compliant with trademark laws. Despite our efforts to communicate with Amazon and resolve the issue, they have not provided any pathway for reinstating our account. As of today, our account remains deactivated. This decision has resulted in the immediate layoff of over 30 workers who depend on this business for their livelihoods. Additionally, we are now facing a financial crisis with millions of dollars owed in lines of credit and payments to suppliers. The sudden shutdown has not only disrupted our operations, but also put us on the brink of financial ruin. Super common. The biggest issue that most sellers have is there's just no clear pathway to get someone who can review your account. I can't imagine just trying to think of the other side of the negotiating table. They have millions of accounts to manage. Um, they're probably waiting through forged documents. There's probably waiting through, people who just don't know what to submit. It's a lot of hand holding. And so what it appears to be is that Amazon doesn't take inbound requests. They make outbound, almost like subpoenas. Like within the next week, you have to appear before Amazon and make your case. You sort of get like a one and done, and it's typically with a call center person. All the ones that we've interacted with, which have been over 20, have been folks from India. Totally reasonable to outsource a call center. But one of my biggest complaints that we will be adding to this complaint is that there's no ADA access. It's only a video call. We represent sellers that are mature. Some of them are in their late 60s and have a little bit of difficulty hearing and understanding, maybe from the accent. And some people are like, there's no way to get like subtitles on the screen so that they can read. I have one gentleman that's just hard of hearing and literally just can't hear, and they will not allow an advocate to be on the line. We've actually requested, could you Zoom someone in from our team that we can help make sense of it and sort of interpret? No, they won't allow that. So just from an ADA compliance standpoint, there should be some consideration for that, because we have several cases where we needed extra access in order to be able to fulfill Amazon's request. So that's something we'll be adding to this complaint and hoping that Amazon reviews. Now, keep in mind, we love Amazon, genuinely. Like, we wouldn't have the opportunity we have today without Amazon's brand. But just because we really think a lot of Amazon is great doesn't mean all of it's great. And this is an area where they can really improve. And I think it's okay that we speak up and we shouldn't have to worry about penalties. Like, we want to make the platform safe just like they do. We just need a different pathway for sellers to be able to prove that they are in fact safe. Let me carry on with this report. Like I said, it's gonna be a long video, but that's okay. If you're interested in it, you'll probably stay to hear the whole complaint. We'll also, I don't know, Greg, can we link, download link, or maybe link to the website where this is hosted in the video? Okay. It has been reported that these closures may be an attempt by Amazon to comply with the Informed Consumers Act, 15 USC 45F, and properly police the illegal use of their platform by third-party sellers who trade in stolen, counterfeit, and illegal products. Obviously, for the sake of justice and protection of potential victims, the buyers, we all support the use of careful and legitimate efforts to combat and remove ill-gotten and fraudulent merchandise. 100%. This is not the issue for my constituents. Also agree. Instead, many raise credible concerns that the current process is so far-reaching and indiscriminate that new victims are being created every day as they lose their livelihoods and assets. Is there not a more reasonable and judicious compliance process to include robust communication, which would provide sellers the knowledge of which specific products are in question and give them the opportunity to provide reasonable proof of provenance? Well written. Way to go, Christopher, and your team. This is awesome. It's exactly how we feel. Though news reports detail closures and seizures all over the world, I am especially concerned by the large concentration of these punitive actions taken against businesses from Lakewood, New Jersey, in my congressional district, which has a large Orthodox. One constituent who raised a concern about unfair targeting of Lakewood residents reported that he did finally speak with an Amazon representative from Seller Performance who was told, "You guys all know each other and circumvent the rules," end quote. This, if accurate, is clearly an inappropriate comment that undermines any confidence in the efficacy and equity in Amazon's enforcement program. We know quite a bit about Lakewood. My business partner lives near there. Just to sort of help people read between the lines, Lakewood has a large population of Jewish residents. And so I think what the congressperson is saying without saying it is it feels like it might be targeted. There is a lot of Jewish folks who are in the wholesale and distribution business. Some of these businesses have been around for literally over 100 years and they pass down from family to family. And there's a part of that that's really beautiful. A different part of it is maybe they're not, they've had agreements in place for 50 years and it's hard to modernize, maybe update those. I would love to see a new technology, maybe a blockchain based technology come into place so that we can track goods. We can track every transaction of every meme coin and shit coin and altcoin or whatever across the entire internet. You tell me we can't track authentic goods? There's got to be a way. I hope you would agree that while you rightfully work to identify and hold real offenders liable, at the same time, you can and should provide the broader community of affected selling partners a clear and concise description of what alleged infraction is, what the alleged infraction is, what product or products are involved, and an expedited opportunity to provide documentation proving their innocence. To that end, I respectfully request the opportunity to meet with you and discuss these important issues and ask that you take immediate corrective action to help to restore the lives of honest and hardworking small business owners who have been persecuted by a reportedly overzealous policy. I await your timely reply and look forward to meeting with you at your earliest convenience. Miss Latona at my office scheduler is available to assist you and your staff in identifying a mutually convenient time to meet as soon as possible. Sincerely, Christopher H. Smith. Well done, Christopher. Thank you so much. Our team is going to, I know you're busy. We're going to reach out and offer any support that we can. We have we represent a lot of sellers. Our number one goal at our company is compliance. We want Amazon to love our sellers. We believe, and this isn't proven, but we believe there is an equation, and we've heard this from several consultants at Amazon, that the amount of fees they can make off your account compared to the amount of issues your account creates determines how many services you get access to. And that makes sense from a business perspective. You want, right? The juice has to be worth the squeeze for Amazon. So everything we do at our company is to that end. We want to be worth it. I'm okay with that. That's marketplace competition. We want to be better. And it goes so far down that to our warehouse, we have basically like a diagram of how Amazon prefers items to be prepped. And everyone's trained like that's the Bible, or that's the, like, world, the football one's called Super Bowl. Man, I'm not a sports guy. The Super Bowl playbook, like this is the playbook. We have a jig in our warehouse to measure, like physically measure. And if the pallet can't fit under that, it doesn't go out the door. Like we do everything we can down to the stickering level to be Amazon perfect. And yet you can do all those things. You can put in all this extra work to get it just right, and you can get caught up in some of these really aggressive policies. Again, it's good that they're trying to clean the platform. We want that and support it. But how can we find a way where legitimate sellers can get recognized faster, better, and without having their businesses shut down for 30 to 90 days? It's really challenging when you have bills to pay. So anyway, we echo the congressperson's letter. We really are grateful for it. Stand by. We'll make an update video to see if his office responds. We're going to write an open letter and we'll post it on X as well. We'll tag Christopher Smith in it and Stephen Hartel, now that we have a name. And we would love to be a resource and share our experience and our ideas if possible. So Amazon, I hope you take this as seriously as we do, because it really does affect many of our livelihoods, and look forward to maybe getting this resolved sometime in the next, it'd be great to get it resolved in the next 2 quarters. I don't know if that's unreasonable or not, but anyway, thanks for joining on the channel. A lot of information about running an Amazon business and a management company. We'll keep you updated on this. Thanks.